Hello folks, Fuzz here, welcome to the stream. Sorry about that, I was just getting myself sorted so that we can be on our way here. And just to answer some questions in chat, yes, I am streaming on YouTube and on Twitch this afternoon, as per usual. So, interestingly, I was actually looking at the terms and conditions of Twitch, and apparently it says that if you're going to be an affiliate, which I'm not, but it says it's going to be upgrading me once I get to 3 average viewers on there, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it seems to be a struggle. But it says once we upgrade to affiliate, then you have to actually not live stream to any other platform for 24 hours while you're streaming to Twitch, which is something I've not heard of before. And lots of people use this restream software that I'm using to stream to both YouTube and Twitch. We're going to have to look into that, because I don't want to start getting account sanctions and what have you. But if anyone knows about it, then, you know, please let me know in comments or whatever. So, yes, hello folks, welcome to those just joining us. We're actually going for Final Fantasy 12 this afternoon, since I just need a bit of a break from Secrets of Mana. I'm enjoying the game, don't get me wrong, but at times it hurts my head a little, so we'll probably go back and play that once again tomorrow around the same time as we are streaming now. So what we're going to do today, I thought, is just proceed pretty much with the story, since we've done quite a few optional hunts in the Zodiac Age here over the last few streams. And in order to proceed with the story, we're going to port over to Salika Wood and head over into the Phon coast and start clearing out the area. Now, because we also killed the antlion in Lusu Mines last time that we played, we should be able to loot the Site 11 key while we're also in the Phon coast, which was one of the reasons why I wanted to take that hunt on in the last live stream. Even though it was quite tricky, and I knew it was going to be quite tricky, I knew we were also going to be hitting the Phon coast shortly after, so it made sense to do so, as we can get everything done through one sitting. At least that's how I'm hoping it's going to work out, but we'll see. Okay, so Penelo, Balthier and Phon were my wrong team there, so we're going to just set these up here. Okay, so Ashe and Phon are support and damage dealers for Balthier. I've basically got 2 teams of 3 set up, and it seems to be doing well. And by the way, guys, who's looking forward to the Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition release that's coming out next month? I did just make a video on it, which is on the YouTube channel, where we look at some of the new features coming in the game. And I actually did like the original Final Fantasy 15. I know a lot of people found it quite controversial for some various reasons and what have you. And I can understand that it did depart quite significantly from previous games in the franchise. And not only that, it did kind of have that unfinished feel to it, especially as you got towards the latter half of the game. But that said, hopefully the Royal Edition is going to correct some of those issues. So I'm going to give it another chance, another try. And we'll be live streaming it when it is released. Although I'm getting the PC version, and I've heard the download is going to be something ridiculous like 100 gigabytes. Which means I probably won't end up being able to play it until the day after release, because Square never seem to allow preloads for their games. I'm not sure why that is. Oh, thank you, Jake. Appreciate that. Sorry, guys, I wasn't checking chat then. But I will endeavour to do so from this point on. I've brought it up on my window now so I can see. And hopefully I'm coming through the stream acceptably and can be heard okay, etc, etc. But just let me know if any problems come up. I should be streaming on Twitch. Crazy Nico. Oh yes, I am. You're on there. Brilliant. Oh, well, that's good to hear then. Oh, yes, it might have just taken a few minutes to load up, but it should do it automatically, and it looks like it has. Are you going to be playing the PC version? I take it. Although the one thing that does worry me with the Final Fantasy 15 Windows Edition release is the simple fact that the benchmark tool that was put out a few about a week ago now, a couple of weeks ago, was buggy as heck for so many people. And it just basically showed a few scenes from the game, or rendered a few scenes from the game. And Square were like, oh, don't worry about it, it's just the benchmark tool's buggy, but the main game's going to be absolutely fine. But to be honest, if the benchmark tool is buggy, then that doesn't really set a good vote of confidence in what the actual final product release is going to be like. Although saying that, the Final Fantasy XII port that we're playing here has played absolutely perfectly for me. I've not had any problems with it whatsoever. Hi Ian. Welcome to the stream. I'm doing good, thanks. How are you? Oh, okay, I see. So you're going to probably get it on the PS4. So this is our first time on this playthrough coming into the Phon coast. Just going to grab a few treasures as we make our way across. There are quite a few to pick up around these areas as we head through. This is definitely the weaker of the two teams that I'm using at the moment. My stronger team is Phon, Bash and Penelo. But I am just trying to power everybody up so that we're all nice and good to go throughout difficult fights and that. And there are quite a few coming up, so it is good to be prepared. I've not played the Persona games actually. Although I know the last one, was that Persona 5? Is a game that I did actually like the look of, and it got a lot of good rave reviews. But I never actually got to doing it just due to time constraints more than anything. But I was just looking to see if anybody had in our party the experience accessory. And for some reason it's on Bash, so we'll get it off him for now. And who's the lowest level? Looks like Balthier to me, so we'll give it to him. Oops, went past it. There it is. And we'll make sure we're still getting lots of gil here. How much gil do we have now with our new accessory? 181,000. So a few runs through trial mode with 6 of those cat ear hoods, and we'll have literally millions of the stuff. Hiya folks. Thanks for joining us in chat, those that have come on over the past couple of minutes. Sorry for those of you that might have been expecting Secret of Mana this afternoon, which has typically become the norm over the last week or so, hasn't it? But I did just want to break from that game for a little while and try and catch up with our Final Fantasy XII playthrough. I want to try and get as much done as we can before Final Fantasy 15 releases in about 15 days. Well, actually about 13 days. So actually just in about 2 weeks' time. Since that's probably going to take my attention up for quite a while then. And I'll be playing the Windows edition of it once it's released. Hi Dan, welcome to the stream. Yeah, I mean I am enjoying Secret of Mana. But it is a game I think you could get burned out on quite easily due to the fact that there's so much backtracking to do in it to move between the areas and stuff. But like I say, we will go back to it at some point, probably tomorrow. For now though, here in Final Fantasy XII, and we're making good progress on this playthrough on the PC. We're already, you know, at the Phon coast. Which in terms of the story is probably over halfway through the main game. And I don't particularly want Balthier with Berserk on here, so... Okay, the problem with this team I've got at the moment though is that there's no Dispel user. So I perhaps need to sort out my teams because a Dispel user is extraordinarily important. Yeah, fast travel point system would be pretty good in that game. But I understand, you know, it's an older game, more traditional. And we've been spoilt since those days with more modern releases. So I understand absolutely why there isn't one. There are a few decent treasures around the Phon coast, but I'm not going to be farming them at the moment. Instead, I'm just focused more on grabbing the treasures that we see and just moving between the different areas. And we're going to grab the Site 11 key as well from the area near the Hunter's camp, since we did defeat the Antlion in the last live stream. Don't forget, guys, if you're just joining us and you're new to the channel, I'm talking to my fellow YouTubers here. Please do go ahead and subscribe, and that should keep you notified of when we go live with future streams. And if you are watching on Twitch, then please do consider just following on that as well, which is basically the same as a YouTube subscription type thing. Although I'm not an expert at Twitch, so there could be some differences. Well, I'm doing fine. Dan, how are you, mate? So we're just traversing the areas, and I don't think we get the map here until we reach the Hunter's Coast, do we? So I'm not too concerned about trying to find that. There's a heck of a lot of treasures in this place, though. I can see a few more have logged into chat, so welcome to you guys. Thanks for joining us today. Even if it's just for a minute or two, it's always good to have people stop by, see what we're up to, maybe say hello. And we're just playing Final Fantasy XII at the moment, the Zodiac Age on PC here. I already completed a more serious walkthrough for this game when it was released on PS4 last year. So what we're doing here is just going for a little bit of a more laid-back playthrough. But we're making some good progress. And we're just traversing the Phon coast at the moment as we head towards the Draclaw laboratory. I might stop from time to time just to take a few sips from the brew, cup of tea. And we're getting lots of lovely gil as well thanks to these cat ear hood accessories. We've already made about 30,000 just going over these first couple of areas here. Mike Nolly, morning. Thanks for joining us. So I do just want to go back one area here so we can grab the treasures. Again, I'm not fully exploring all of the treasures at this moment. I just want to have a quick run through to see what we can find, you know, on our first exploration of the area. So, New Game Minus. Somebody's just asking about New Game Minus in chat. New Game Minus is good. And it is different to New Game Plus. New Game Plus, the whole team starts at level 90. And in New Game Minus, everybody begins at their starting level as normal, but then cannot gain experience throughout the entire playthrough. And I have actually done about 50 videos or so. There's a playlist on YouTube of a New Game Minus walkthrough. I did want to take a break from it though after a while, so I haven't finished it. But that should give you a good idea of what to expect. And it is a lot of fun. And it's actually quite easy as well if you go for the right setup. So the thing with New Game Minus is it's all about strategy and how you prepare your team. If you gimp yourself with the wrong job combinations, you're going to find it a real slog. But if you go for the correct job combinations, then you can actually find that New Game Minus is not too challenging at all. In particular, the Machinist class is a class you're going to want to make use of, due to the fact that guns are the only weapon in New Game Minus that are really functional. in terms of actually, you know, dishing out damage. And that's because every other weapon is dependent upon the person who's equipping it. It's dependent upon their level, whereas guns are not dependent on level at all. And the other class you'll want to make use of is Black Mage, since black magic is also very powerful, and you can boost the damage with specific staffs. I was hoping to keep Althea alive then, but apparently it's not going to happen. And the good thing about the PC version of Final Fantasy XII is that New Game Minus is unlocked immediately. Whereas on the PS4 version, you have to complete Trial Mode Stage 100 in order to unlock it. Which, as you can imagine, is no easy feat. Okay, so we're just going to continue heading across these areas here. We'll fully explore the region later on. Your main damage dealers in weak mode are going to be characters that have combinations such as Machinist paired with Foe Breaker. And a great way of doing damage is to keep them at low health, put them in Berserk mode, and just literally unleash it all upon the enemies. And you'll be doing like 3,000 to 4,000 points of damage with a single gunshot, even very early on in the game. So if you watch some of my weak mode episodes that I put out, you'll see that I was actually taking on some really tough hunts, and they was actually dropping very, very quickly, even, you know, faster than we'd expect on a normal mode playthrough. That said, the setup you'd go for on weak mode wouldn't be that ideal on a normal mode playthrough, because guns aren't the best weapon when level is not an object. Leveling is not a, you know, an issue. Hopefully that makes sense. I've not had enough tea yet today, so my body's craving the caffeine still. Huh. Yeah, top tier weapons in New Game Minus aren't useful at all, really. Even like Sight and Grat isn't going to be doing you any good. And the other tricky thing with New Game Minus is farming Gil. Gil, what's the attack where you throw Gil? Gil Toss is very powerful in a normal mode playthrough, because a couple of rounds through trial mode and you'll have millions of Gil with the cat ear hood accessory equipped. And as you can see, I'm already making use of that accessory. I don't know why Penella hasn't got it. I think I need to buy another one. But that's not something you can do in trial mode. So, Gil Toss, which is an ability I will be using quite a bit in this playthrough, once we've collected it, is not something you can do because the cat ear hood accessory won't give you enough Gil. Yeah, that should work, Ultimate Gamer. I don't think I've tried that myself. My Balthea is the Night Bushi. Night Bushi is possibly the strongest job combination in the game, out of, you know, pairing two jobs. There's just so much right with it that I would recommend at least one Night Bushi on a normal mode playthrough. But Bushi and Shikari should work as well. Yeah, Abhijit, when I did my playthrough, I gave two characters the gun job, which is Machinist, and that worked out well for me. Some of the guns early on that you're going to want to get can be a pain to farm, because the drop rates for some of the materials are quite low. So you don't really want to have to farm more than two guns of each type, you know, two of each gun anyway. So yeah, two Machinists should be enough, and then a Black Mage as well. And obviously you'll want a Time Battle Mage, and you'll want every other class that's going to buff your tank and things like that. And You'll want a tank in the party, and then either 2 machinists, or a machinist and a healer. Although ultimately, you're only going to want to be healing your tank, because your machinist users are going to be kept at low health. Ideally, anyway. Okay, so we're heading over to the hunter's camp here. Archers no good really in weak mode, because bows aren't very effective at low levels. Guns are basically the only weapon where damage is not determined by the level of the person wielding it, whereas all the other weapons that deal melee and range damage are determined by that.
Why the capital?
The Nethicite. I must destroy it.
Are you sure? You don't want it for yourself? Use its power to restore Dalmasca?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting that you have like a duck symbol for decoy, isn't it? I guess the enemies in this game just despise ducks. If they see a duck, they just want to kill it.
Lusting for ever greater power. Blinded by the Nethicite. Is that how you see me?
That does sound like someone I know. He was obsessed with Nethicite. It was all he cared about.
Come over here.
He'd babble nonsense, blind to aught but the stone's power. He'd talk about some was it Venar? No matter.
Yeah, they can. I'll tell you what though, geese are nastier.
To understand it.
Geese can be absolutely evil. They chase after you and bite you and all sorts of nasty stuff.
You were a judge?
Part of a past I'd rather forget. It didn't last long. I ran. I left the judges and him. Sidolphus Demon Bonanza. Draculaur Laboratories, very
You mean a dog, do you, crazy?
That's when he lost his heart to Nethicite. Lost himself. And I suppose that's when I lost my father.
How are you guys watching, by the way? Are most of you at computers, or are you on mobile devices or tablets?
I ran away. I couldn't stand seeing him like that, a slave to the stone. So I ran. Free at last. Funny I went for the Dusk Shard. How could I have known that it was Nethicite? And then, of course, I met you. All that running, and I got nowhere.
Okay.
It's time to end this. Cut my ties to the past.
It's interesting, actually. I'd say about 2 years ago, my analytics in YouTube would tell me that computers were still, by far, you know, the most popular device that my audience was using. But nowadays, it does tell me that mobile devices tend to be, at least on par with, if not even more so, used over computers for watching the videos and that I put out.
Marriage of convenience.
Yeah, it seems a few in chat are using mobile devices as well. It's amazing how quickly they're taking over the world. Oh, so I'll try and be quiet for the cutscene here.
These roles we play. I must admit, I find it wearying.
I will play mine.
I would have no other.
The choice is yours to make. But don't give your heart to a stone. You're too strong for that, princess.
I pray you're right, Balthier.
Right, so there's a few things we can do around here then. Hello, Holly. Thanks for joining us on Twitch. How are you? So first things first, I want to speak to the Moogle, because one of these Moogles, don't think it's Gertie. Yeah, no, he does the chocobos. One of the Moogles will sell us the map. And that'll just keep my OCD at bay then. Looking at all these pointy areas that don't currently lead to anywhere. I'm pretty sure it's in this area somewhere. Ah, there it is. Hiding out the way up here. Which is the dungeon in this place? I think it's the Still Shrine of Miriam. You basically explore the entire place before the game decides you're allowed to have a map. And I don't think it unlocks any new areas at all. It's really strange where the developers decided to put that one. Okay, so there's our map explored. And while we're around this section, actually, the Site 11 key drops around here, doesn't it? I can't remember the exact location, but I know it's around here. It might be like a sparkly on the ground or something. There it is, I can see it. Ran past it. Site 11 key. Oh, I've not really thought of that actually, Abhijit. I know there's a mod actually available. Maybe I'll have a look at it. I don't know how useful it would be. Probably just something you play around with for a little bit and then realise it's not useful. But there's a mod for the PC version where you can play as Rex throughout the entire game. So it could be an interesting one. Jay, hello mate, welcome. Thanks for joining us. And Peritin as well, good to have yous. Let's go ahead and save here. We're playing Final Fantasy XII. Obviously, you can see that. For those just joining us, instead of the usual Secrets of Mana, which we've been doing over the last few days through the afternoons here. And I'm just taking a bit of a break from that game. Probably we'll do a live stream on it again tomorrow. And I'm hoping to live stream tonight as well, probably with more Final Fantasy XII. So we'll have a bit of a Zodiac Age day today. Yeah, I went for similar jobs on my PC playthrough here that I did on my PS4 playthrough. But there were some differences. So it's not exactly the same. So this is where we'll be able to do the Hunt Club side quest. But at the moment, that's not possible. We have to come back a little bit later on. Right, so I just want to make sure we've done everything we need to do. We've got the Site 11 key. We have got the map. I think we just need to go to the shops now. Now we can have a look at the board. We've got both of the hunts accepted. But we'll go and purchase what we need. Great Crystal video is awesome until 2820. That gate screwed me. Oh right, yeah. I think what's happened is that video came straight after the video where we took care of Ultima or something, because it was part of the walkthrough. But a few people have just watched that video alone, and I didn't know this at the time, but apparently one of the gates is either open or shut if you haven't done Ultima before following the Great Crystal tutorial. And it's only affected a few people, but yeah, that is a problem. There's not much I can do about it now. In all fairness, that place does suck. I understand how frustrating it is. So if we go over here to Technics, we've got those. Okay, so Confuse and Fire Regard are two that we need to get. And we've got everything else here. We can actually purchase Bacchus wine now. Stock up our high potion supply. I'm not sure how we ran out of high potions. Oh, congratulations on the follower, Nico. And Phoenix Downs. Just very briefly checking stuff here. We could get mirror mails. That, by the way, guys, Reflect is actually useful. Not everybody knows this. But if your Black Mage casts magics on a party member with Reflect and bounces it back to an enemy, it does, I think, either 50% or 100% more damage on the enemy than it otherwise would. I'm not going to buy them just yet, though. And the Crystal Shield as well. Let me just see how much of an upgrade this is. Because we've got the Dragon Shield from the desert earlier, and that's been serving us quite well, it's got to be said. But it looks like this is going to be a decent upgrade. So we need Shields 5. So we'll give one to Bash. And we'll go ahead and see if we can learn that on Balthier. Hastegar, it's actually Haste in Eriot's village as a treasure. Hastegar is the one you have to get from the Great Crystal. I think somebody mentioned in chat a few moments ago they were still trying to get it or something. It's a bit of a pain. But I have done a video on how to get Hastegar. I think it's with all the other treasures you get from that place. But if you haven't done Ultima, then one or two people have mentioned that the gate is closed or something. But I'm not going back to that place unless I absolutely have to. Which probably will be on this playthrough, I'd imagine, at some point. But that won't be for a while. Right then, so we can go ahead now and give Balth... Oh, we need to purchase another one. A Crystal Shield. There we go. Hang on, where is it? There it is. Dragon Shield, nope. Crystal Shield, yes. So we just need to... I might have a look at some of the other gear briefly as well here before we move on. We'll sell some of this other rubbish we've got. Dragon Shield could be useful because it makes us immune to earth damage. But I don't think that's going to be required anytime soon, so we'll just go ahead and sell that. And some of this other stuff that we're no longer needing as well. We did just loot that, so we'll have a look in a moment, see if that's useful by any of our mages. Carmag Knoll. Yeah, I don't know why they designed the Great Crystal the way that they did. Well, actually, I do know. It's probably to sell strategy guides. But that place sucks. There was absolutely no need to disable any workable map in the dungeon. It was just... It doesn't make it challenging. It just made it really frustrating more than anything. I forgot what I was looking at now. Oh, yeah. If any of the mages could use that item, wasn't it? Okay, it's quite a nice one. But we're using Ashe at the moment. Oh, she's Time Batter Mage. She uses other stuff. We're using Phon. We'll give it to her. Oh, we had two. Okay, we'll optimise Phon as well. Now, I absolutely understand how frustrating that dungeon is. And I'm glad that my walkthrough videos for the Great Crystal have helped so many people, but I did my best with it, and I think there was that one thing, that one issue, that's made it a struggle for some people that just watch that one video. And I understand that's absolutely fine not to watch a whole walkthrough. But unfortunately, that dungeon is so confusing and so complex that I just couldn't really do much about it. And anyway, let's move on now. We're going to head out into the bottom here, because there are some one-time treasures we can grab from the other screen, or from this screen here, but on the other side. And we can get chocobos as well if we want to, but there's no need to at the moment, I wouldn't have thought. And we've also got Fivergar, haven't we? So what I'm going to do is just check Fran's gambits here. We'll change Fiver here to Fivergar. Have we got Blizzardgar yet? No, we haven't. So Fivergar's our only, you know, rank 3 Black Mage spell. Yeah, Excalibur, or Excalibur, is like a sword that does 1 damage, and everyone's really excited when they get it, aren't they? They're like, oh, I got Excalibur. And they try and use it and get obliterated in the fight, or whatever the case is. I think it's just Square trolling us. And Balthier's actually gained a couple of levels over our trip to the Phon coast, which is nice to see. Good to see our parties fully in their 30s now. Yeah, Gilgamesh has Excalibur, doesn't he? I think. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works. And this is where all the treasure chests are. Hi folks, welcome to those joining us on stream as we plough through Final Fantasy XII here on the PC in wondrous 60 frames per second, something that obviously the PS4 version does not do. And I just love this line of treasure chests down here. So these are all one-time spawn. Once we've grabbed them, they don't come back. And, oh, kind of feels bad destroying the pattern. But needs must obey. And we must collect the treasures here. Some of them aren't really that exciting. Callot hat. Okay, so we'll just briefly see what we found, what we didn't find. Anything we can equip immediately? Nope. Oh, I'll go through it all later then. I've no idea what that's about, Abhijit. But it's always fun opening them. And there's actually nothing to do up there. There's a hunt later on as part of the hunt club. But for now, there's nothing there for us exciting, I'm afraid. So we're just going to move back into the next area. Yeah, that's a good point, Nico. Well, in all fairness, there's actually nothing to do in that section of the Phon coast. So maybe they thought they could leave all their treasure there and it would be safe. But then it kind of opens up all kinds of other questions, like what in the world did they need so many treasure chests for? They probably could have got it all into one if they'd tried. Right, so there's actually a few decent treasures in this area. Yeah, Decoy is the duck. I have got Bubble active as well, which is why Balthier's got 7,000 hit points. So 300 gil's not that exciting, unfortunately, but it is one of the treasures that can be something decent. In fact, there's a couple around here, so I'm just going to run in and out of this area to see what they are to remind myself. As Balthier happily dings level 33. And the level hype is real here. So a chest can spawn on this wall as well, I think. Which can be a good one. But I don't think it has for us on this occasion. So we'll ignore the wall and head back. Have you hurt yourself, Nico? What's happened? Have you had an injury? Hi, Joachim. Welcome to the stream. Good to have you. You're new, are you? And you've just bought the game. You want to know if there's any missable items? The answer is no. If you're playing the Zodiac Age on PC or PS4, then there are no missables. Is the short answer. There is a slightly longer answer where some people say there's a quest that you can miss towards the start of the game, but it's completely pointless. And it's more a little bit of dialogue that you can miss. In the original, some of you might remember that you could miss the Zodiac Spear, which was considered to be the ultimate weapon on the PS2 version, by opening the wrong chest early in the game, but that's not the case here in the Zodiac Age. Well, technically, actually, there are a couple of missable items, such as in the Palace of Rabanasta, an area you can only go to once, but nothing in terms of weapons. It's just consumable items that you can loot in that place. Yeah, the remastered is a lot of fun. There is some contention over which is preferred over the original license board and the new job system of the Zodiac Age. Personally, I've got used to the job system now, so I'm happy to make use of it. Although there is actually a mod available, I want to check it out at some point on the PC version where you can actually go back and use the original license board. Although since mods are still in their early infancy, they can be quite buggy at the moment for this game. Yeah, what I'm doing at the moment, guys, I remember there's quite a few decent treasures from these chests here. Can't remember exactly what they are. I'm thinking like mirror mail or something. Saves us buying it if there is. So I'm just kind of trying to see if we can get something other than Gil. Okay, well if it helps, I've done a video walkthrough on this game when it came out on PS4 last year. There's like 200 plus episodes in it. And we get the Platinum Trophy, plus a load of other stuff as well. And I'm grateful that it's helped a lot of people, so if you haven't already, you might want to check it out. Right now, guys, what we're doing is just going for a little bit of a more laid-back playthrough with this version of the game. That said, I'm just running in and out of this area at the moment because I know there are some decent treasures here, but getting them to spawn, well, that's another matter entirely. But we'll try one or two more times and then we'll move on. Oh, for the mod where you can replace, or where you can have Rex run through the entire game. I don't know how it works, I've not tried it, Jay, in all honesty. But that's an interesting question. My guess is that he doesn't have quickenings. But again, I can't really... Oh, we've got some blazer gloves. I can't really say one way or another because I've not tried the mod myself. I'm assuming it's one of those mods that's fun to play around with for an hour or so. And maybe there's some challenge to it, trying to complete the game with Rex. He does level as normal, so he's not stuck at his starting level or anything. But other than that, the long-term playability of it, obviously the game wasn't designed with it in mind, so it's probably not something that's going to work. Thank you, Pevertin. Appreciate that. Well, we're playing Final Fantasy XII at the moment, and Secret of Mana we're streaming, obviously not right this second, but like across the current timeline. And then in a couple of weeks' time, I'll be looking at Final Fantasy 15, the PC release, since I've got it pre-ordered. And I was hoping to stream it on launch day, but then I remembered that Square pretty much never do preloads, and apparently the download's going to be over 100 gigabytes. So with my internet speed, I probably won't be playing that on launch day, unfortunately. I only get 38 megabytes down and 6 megabyte up, which is fortunately just enough to stream at 1080p, albeit not at the highest of qualities that I would like to do it at. But until we can get better internet, which is dependent upon our ISP, we're kind of stuck with what we have. Yeah, Star Ocean Last Hope, I'm enjoying that, and I'm not streaming that. I was only really mentioning what I'm live streaming when I said those games a moment ago. But yeah, I am doing pre-recorded episodes for that one. I've actually got an episode ready to go, so I'll be uploading that once the stream's finished. So I'm glad that a few people have been enjoying that playthrough, actually. Star Ocean 4 was actually... Oh, it was my second Star Ocean game. I played one on the PS2 a few years before this one, and then I played this one on PS3 a couple of years ago. Well, actually, crikey, doesn't time fly. It's about 8 years ago now. Okay, I'm going to try one more entering and exiting, and then I'm going to give up on trying to get some decent loot here. Some of the drop rates in this game are abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. I'm just checking out your messages there, guys. Oh, you liked Amy? Yeah. Yeah, some of the characters in Star Ocean, I'll be honest, are a little bit cliche. But hey, it's a Japanese role-playing game, so that's not really something you can give as a criticism. That just comes with the genre more than anything, doesn't it? Although it has been getting better over the last few years. Final Fantasy 15, I didn't mind the 4 main characters in that. I thought before the game came out that they were really going to annoy me. I'm not going to bother resetting again. That they were really going to, you know, just get on my nerves. But I thought the chemistry worked quite well between them. And there was a few emo moments that were a bit cringeworthy. But overall, it was a lot better than I expected. Yeah, it happens, doesn't it, Jay? I was just thinking that myself when I played Star Ocean 4 on PS3. And now I'm playing it again on PS4. And that, yeah, that was like 9 years ago. 2009 that game came out. That's pretty incredible. Actually, I think it was 8 years because it came out on PS3 the year after Xbox 360. Oh, yeah. That's exactly the same as me, Nico. In my 30s, feel like my 50s. And in fact, if this is what feeling 30 is like, I'm not looking forward to actually being 50. No offence to those of you that are. I'm sure you're all a lot healthier than I am. Probably play a lot less games for starters. So we're going to be entering the Tchita Uplands in a moment's time. Oh, well, I haven't got that excuse, Nico. But sorry to hear that. Okay, so we've gained about 4 levels, I think, with Balthea, going through the Phon coast there. So, I'm not finishing the stream yet, but just a heads up that once we finish streaming this afternoon, I'm hoping to come back later tonight, 9:30 PM UK time, and we'll go for another hour or so of Final Fantasy 12. And then we'll be streaming tomorrow afternoon as well, And I'll probably be continuing on at that point with Secret of Mana. And hello and salutations and greetings to those that have recently logged into live chat. Thank you very much for joining us. We've just blitzed our way through the Phon coast there. Managed to pick up the Site 11 key, having taken on the Antlion in the last live stream. And it's cutscene time. Well, introductory cutscene to the Tchita Uplands. Just sending a quick text message here. I'll be right back. Well, I'm still here, but you know what I mean. Okay, right, so we're in the Tchita Uplands. There's a few treasures that we can grab from this area, some nice treasures as well. Although some of them do unfortunately not have the highest drop rate, but we will try and grab some. I'm just looking at my map here. I've got a map in front of me, so we can see which ones are going to be useful to get. There's float, first of all. We definitely do want to get float, since we'll be able to avoid traps and everything at that point, which is somewhat helpful for us. Diamond armor could be good. Blind Gar is probably going to be something we want to get, along with the diamond helm. Dragon shield, we can ignore that. Regen. Yeah, quite a few decent treasures then we're going to be looking at on our journey through the Tchita Uplands as we go here. Yeah, it is. It is, Nico. A traditional Final Fantasy staple here. Ah, another level. More level height. Brilliant. So I'm using the embroidered tippet accessory here on Balthier. And that's the reason why he's just shooting through the levels. He's gone from 29 to 34 over this live stream. So he's gained 5 levels. And we'll just continue killing these enemies as we go. I know it's not the most exciting thing necessarily to watch, but the experience gain is somewhat important. We can even speed things up a little bit, I guess, can't we? And I do seem to remember on my PS4 playthrough having to farm a few items from this area, which I'm not going to do at the moment. But no doubt I'll be back here at some point in order to get some upgrades or whatever the case may be. Yeah, to be honest, those job setups sound absolutely fine. I don't think off the top of my head they'd be the most optimal. But if you want to go for a lore setup, then that'll do you. To be honest, guys, on a normal playthrough, I mean, weak mode is something different, but assuming that we're just talking about a normal playthrough here, you'd have to work really hard to gimp yourself to the point where you can't actually do it, you know, make your way through the game. And we need to sort out some ranged attacks here for the flyers. Kill the snakes. Are we doing enough damage on this guy? Yeah, just about. There we go. So just look around for the chests and then we're going to move on. We're going to head down south and grab float from the next area. Float is a one-time treasure spawn, but really useful and something we're going to set up a gambit for almost immediately, since it's going to allow us to avoid traps. which is obviously very important, especially as some of the later dungeons and what have you, such as in the Nebraeus Deadlands, are really evil when it comes to placing traps down for us. I might switch over my teams in a moment, since we're having to heal quite a bit here. So let's just wait for the buffs to finish. Go on then, Cures up. Okay. And I'm just going to check. I think we're ready to go. Yes, Phon and Penelo are all set up to buff Bash there. Yes, Earth attacks as well. You're absolutely right. In fact, there's one boss later on. It's a story boss. I can't think what it's called, but it's in Pharos, I think. And you can pretty much make it a walkover just by casting Float on the party. Which is interesting. But mostly Float is useful for avoiding traps, as I say. Oh, one thing we do need to do, since it's not useful when a party member's not being used, is replace this with somebody else. So Varn's level 34, so is Bash, so is Penelo. It doesn't really matter too much then. Guess we can give it to Phon. And we'll give the cat ear hood to Balthier. Two speed is a nice speed when we're going around collecting treasures. The Mulberries in this game are generally not as hard, in my opinion, as they have been in other Final Fantasy games. Mulberry tends to be like one of the hardest enemies because of the negative status ailments they spew all over you. But in Final Fantasy XII, they're not too bad, in all honesty. One thing I am going to want to start doing soon as well is collecting some extra espers and what have you. Yeah, in Final Fantasy 15, some of the Mulberries in that are absolutely insane. Especially in some of the timed hunts and stuff. That can be very, very challenging indeed. Right, so somewhere around here is the float magic. And as I say, that is my first priority. Okay, we'll head over here. There it is. The wonderful float. It's going to see us through a lot of pain, this thing is. And I'm pretty sure Penelo can use it. Might have to learn something first. Where's it gone? If we go to inventory. Oh, it's a red magic, time magic. I don't know why I was thinking it was white magic. Sometimes my mind just completely obliterates itself, having not played for a little bit of time. Which means Ashe is going to be our main floater. I'll just check actually if anybody else can use it while we're here. So Phon can use it, which is going to be helpful, and oh no, he can't. He can use Vanish. I don't know why I saw that as float. So only Ashe can use it. Okay, I'll set it up as a gambit on her, but obviously she's not in the party at the minute. But when she is, it'll be useful. And we'll just stick that on as ally N8. Right then, let's carry on. So there are a few more other useful treasures we're going to want to pick up. But I think that's pretty much it for this area. So we'll continue on round, and there should be an orange save crystal coming up quite soon as well. So another useful teleport location to add to our repertoire. Anything around here? Anything exciting? Nothing at all. I'm also, by the way, guys, just spending a bit of time at the moment trying to work on my website. The Fuzzfinger Gaming website. So I will try and keep that updated with blog posts and stuff. But I'm still working on it at the minute, but I'll keep you updated on that. But I appreciate it when it's finished if you guys want to check it out. Just check for other treasures down here. Can usually get one or two hiding all over the place. Speed things up. So this team is definitely my primary team. It's a lot more powerful than the other team we were using. But it's still important to use them both so that we can get everybody's levels roughly equal. I know a lot of people, when they play Final Fantasy XII, just concentrate on 3 party members. And that's definitely a valid way of doing things. There's no question about that. But I've always preferred trying to keep everyone leveled up around the same mean type of level. The same average. Which is why every time you'll watch me play this game, that's going to be the case. It's not necessarily the better way of playing, it's just the way I've always preferred doing it. Oh, it's a blue one. I don't know why I thought it was going to be orange. Oh well. Is it going to be orange later? Or is there an orange one coming up? I'm sure there's an orange save crystal here. In the Tchita Uplands. Oh, there is. It's further north, isn't it? We'll head there now. Before we do that, there's one-time spawn treasure I do want to get. Yeah, that's why I like doing it, Nico. On the other hand, if you do just concentrate on 3 people rather than 6, then theoretically their levels should be much higher. But seeing as how later on in the game, some of the tough optional bosses, you generally do need to use, in many cases, 6 party members. I like to try and just, you know, start early with levelling them up more than anything. So there's a few treasures that can spawn around here, but there's one treasure that's one-time spawn in the next area. I want to get that. Oh yeah, carrot. Carrot is a hunt, quite a challenging one, and also a an enemy on trial mode level 70, I believe, off the top of my head, and I can't remember what exactly, but it has a good steal, something useful to steal on it. The Niho player accessory, I think it is. Right, so somewhere around here we can grab that one-time spawn treasure. I think it's up north. Yeah, there is an orange crystal. You're right, Abhijit. I got confused by the fact that we got a blue one, but there just happens to be 2 in this area. Before we go to the orange one, though, I'm just going to go ahead and grab the treasure from this area. Somewhere around here. Wow, some of these frogs do take a bit of a beating, don't they, to kill? I think it's over here, the treasure. Somewhere around here. The enemies would leave us alone. I might be able to find it. Oh, thank you, Fan Defeat for Aim, for subscribing on YouTube. Very much appreciated. Right, where the heck is this treasure? I know it's around here, I'm sure of it. It's a slow thing. Oh, kill the corral thingy. Maybe it just hasn't spawned. That's possible. One-time treasures do tend to spawn. There's one over here, but I don't think that's it. It could be, but I don't think it is. Nope. Alright, we'll come back to it later. We'll just kill these enemies and move on, I guess. I'm pretty sure it would spawn around exactly where I'm standing, and it hasn't, so we'll come back later on. And the quickest way now to the orange save crystal is actually just going to be to continue on the way we're going and then backtrack up north. So this is quite a in-depth area actually, in terms of how much there is to do. There's obviously going to be quite a few hunts to come back till, or come back for later on. And it's helpful having Penelo with a unit around these parts, because a lot of these enemies, the Marlborough, the Corals, hit you with all kinds of manner of nasty status effects. And the orange save crystal is just in the area after this one we've gone into here. So tonight, guys, when I come back to stream Final Fantasy XII, I might take a break from heading over towards Dracula Laboratory, and perhaps have a look at taking on some new hunts and what have you. Since we've explored a couple of new areas, got some new orange save crystals, got some more levels, a few new items, etc. Hopefully we'll be in the position to start taking some on, maybe even some espers. We haven't yet tackled any of the optional espers, and I think we're getting to the point where we'll be able to do so. I don't know yet about the one in the sewers, since that one's just horrible all round. The one where you get sapped at the start. However, some of the others, on the other hand, might be possible. Okay, I'm just going to run through this area now, for the sake of time, and into the area with the orange save crystal. So we'll chat to the kid. And he sent us on the quest to go into the cave palace. But we'll go ahead and accept it now. Hi, Lisa. Thanks for joining us. Welcome. So maybe that'll be something good to start off with in the next episode. We've got the Soul Ward key, and we get the secret hunt, which isn't an official hunt, as we've just been warned. So it won't be in our log, but hopefully we'll remember we've picked it up, and then we can go and do it. But guys, I'm going to go ahead and actually leave things off at there for now, since we've got the orange save crystal here. Seems like a good opportunity to take a break. So UK time, I should be back with you for about 9:30 PM. I'll go ahead and schedule that on stream. Beaverla, oh, thank you ever so much. That's very kind of you to come on and share that. Appreciate it very much. No, it's always a pleasure to know that my videos and stuff are helpful and useful to people. So that's why I keep doing it, to be honest. But yeah, really appreciate that feedback, thank you. Yeah, so I was just saying then, guys, what I'm going to do is call it quits for now, in terms of the stream. And I'll be back about 9:30 PM UK time. I'm going to put a schedule on YouTube, or schedule an event. So if you're not sure when 9:30 PM UK time is, check back in about 10 minutes after the end of this stream onto my live stream page, and that should tell you the countdown as to when the next live stream will be going, well, live, quite frankly. But that will be 9:30 PM tonight, unless anything comes up, in which case I'll have to cancel the event. So, you know, think of some ideas, guys, when we come back. We're going to be playing Final Fantasy 12. What you think we should be taking care of. We could just proceed with the story, or we could look at taking on some more optional hunts, or whatever, you know, you guys think we should do. I'm just taking this as a more laid-back approach to the game, this particular stream, rather than, you know, taking it too seriously like we did with the PS4 playthrough. But yeah, appreciate it, guys. Thanks for stopping by. Abhijit, you take care, mate. And Nico, thanks for coming and joining us on Twitch there. Yeah, you too, Abhijit. Have a good day. Is it earlier or later in India than the UK? I always forget. It'd be later, wouldn't it? So it's 4:45 in the afternoon here. I'm pretty sure it's later than that for you. Is that right? Anyway. Right then. Alright then, guys. Well, thanks again for joining me. I'm going to go ahead here and just minimise the game so that I can access my YouTube live streaming tools. And yeah, see you later, Jay. Thanks for stopping by. See you, Joachim. Take care. Oh, it's night there, is it already? Yeah, I thought it would be. Alright then, guys, you take care. See you later. Goodbye.